Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
I'm Eve.
And I'm Amanda.
And tonight we are very excited to be bringing you this. Now, the three of us have been talking about these 4 shows since they came on. They're fantastic. They're awesome. They're amazing. We're going over lifestyle reality shows today. And I know that kind of seems like a mixed bag. And what we're giving you is kind of a mixed bag. We got 2 very similar shows against 2 very similar shows to each other, but opposite from the other 2. So, but it's lifestyle reality. Yeah, it's things that you can apply to your life, ways to do things. So we're really excited about it. We loved all of these shows very much. I think that this is going to be, my opinion would be probably straight A's across the board, but we'll see when we get to the grading of each one of these shows.
Okay.
Right? So up first is our Indian matchmaking show, which I'm a wedding planner, so I kind of stumbled on that, and I love Indian weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with, and I thought at first it was going to be a wedding show, so I was really excited. It wasn't, but I got hooked anyway. I did go backwards though. I started season 3 and then went to season 1 and 2. I don't know how you guys watched it, but that's how I got into it.
I started with season 3 too.
Oh, I guess I'm the weird one. I started with season 2.
I was really confused in season 3. I'm like, wait, why are they acting like I should know this person? Because I didn't realize I was on season 3. I just started it.
I know I did the same thing, but then I was already kind of,
yeah.
It was like 2 episodes before I figured it out what I had done. So I was like, I'm already 2 episodes in, so might as well
finish it.
Some of the Netflix shows are confusing because I know for some of them it has the seasons in like newest down to oldest.
Yeah.
I know that Great British Baking Show does that, and it's crazy because I'm like, my brain does not work this other order.
Can we count like the rest of the universe, please?
No, that's too simple. We can't do that.
That makes too much sense, Maureen. Don't be ridiculous.
I know. All right, Eve, what's the synopsis for Indian matchmaking?
Okay. Matchmaker Seema Taparia, I am so sorry if I butchered her name, guides clients in the US and India in the arranged marriage process, offering an inside look at the custom in a modern era.
Now, this was fascinating to me. Seema, no, I know that she says her name in the show, but I always think of her as Seema Auntie. Because that's what, isn't that what they referred to her as?
That's how I have to say her name every time. Seema Auntie.
Yes. I don't even know if that's really how they refer to it, but that's how it is in my head. But watching how their culture works and how the different, like there's things that they do that I would never think would even impact a marriage or relationship, but they do that because that's what their culture stands for. And that's like there was a couple couples. Sorry, I'm 12 all of a sudden. There was a couple of couples who she brought to a face reader. Do you remember that dude? Yeah. And every season she would do that, bring them to the face reader, and he would read their faces. Be like, nope, not a good match. Oh no, they're a good match. But he was spot on.
He was. I loved that. That was really. Didn't he do that in season 1?
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really remember it in 3, but I started with 1 a few days ago, and I know him from season 1. I haven't gotten to season 2 yet. I'm watching apparently in a weird order.
It did take me a little aback because I was like, whoa, this is not the way you're supposed to, way you're supposed to be. Sorry, I'm not trying to offend anyone's culture here. Yeah. I'm like, this is not how relationships are supposed to work. But then he was so spot on. I was like, I don't know, maybe I can get on board with this.
I don't really think there's a right way and a wrong way. I think there's all different kinds of ways. And that's what I found like so beautiful about not just Indian matchmaking like we're talking about today, but we're also going to be talking about Jewish matchmaking. And I loved both of these shows. Like, and I learned stuff from both of these shows. Yeah. And it was so neat and cool because I watched them kind of like back to back.
That's what I did too.
Each other. And it was so cool to see the differences, yet a few similarities with how the process goes.
Yeah. Well, even the family structure, it's both cultures they put, I mean, we're talking about Indian matchmaking right now, but the family structure is so different than for us culturally. I mean, in America, oftentimes the nuclear family is dispersed. There's not so much harping on that anymore as there used to be. But in the Indian matchmaking, there was this one dude who, and I felt bad for him for a minute, but then I was like, well, maybe he likes it that way, where the mom spoke exclusively for him. And he didn't speak at all in front of Seema Auntie. I was like, well,
yeah, that was weird.
But do you want to have your opinion heard? But that was just natural for them.
I know.
I'm not sure if that is always a thing, because Seema
think so.
even at one point said that in order for her to, find him a good match, he needs to be more involved. In the process. So it's definitely appears to be very common for the families to be very heavily involved in the process. But for the person who's seeking, a match, it can't at all be helpful for them to just sit there and let mom speak for them. It's like, are we finding a match for you or your mother? Like,
and
I watched the mother. I think that's
exactly. Well, then she said something else about her other daughter-in-law, who that's how they got her. That's how she married. It's my choice kind of thing. And he did speak up, but I think it's one of my favorite things. Let's go into our favorites, because we're not going to really do our normal Netflix review, because to break down the characters, there's not really characters. They're real, genuine people who are hunting for this, and there's a lot of them. There's 3 seasons worth of them. So we're not going to go there. Seema Auntie's the only one you need to know about. But one of my favorite things is, and that I appreciated, and that I wish that happened here more often, is when they would bring in the guy or the girl to meet the other guy or girl. It was, you brought them into the whole family, like aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents. I mean, it's intimidating, I would imagine, but it was nice to see what you're getting all up front, all right away.
That would scare the bejesus out of
me. I don't know that.
I would love that.
Like immediate ick.
Really? That's an ick for you? I love that, because family your family should be a part of your relationship post-wedding. And I like that you get to meet them, because it's not like you have to hang out with them only, but you meet them right away. You kind of see where they come from. Because it's different, because it's arranged. It's not like you're just naturally meeting somebody. It's arranged.
I understand them, like how that works. I totally get it, because it makes sense in the show. If it's an arranged, then I know and I can even see like having your parents, whichever, and maybe a sibling or a cousin or a close friend, like with you. I don't need the entire family there. Like that just to me,
I would love it.
Like an intimidating, like you're coming at me. I would feel threatened.
I don't need to
meet a me problem.
I don't need to meet the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and the nieces and the nephews. Like, oh, that's
not right up front. Like a few dates at least. Come on.
That. I got to be kind of honest with you. Like, if it gave me an idea for when my daughter starts dating, like, okay, all right, bring him over. let's meet this fella.
Oh my gosh.
You steer him away. He is not for you.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
But I want my kids to be able to talk to me and be able to trust in my opinions.
Well, I think they can still trust in your opinions, but if the meeting the family is too scary for them, not that you are going to like harass them and be cruel, but it's just the idea of meeting family is like, oh, nope, that's too much for me.
To me, it's not even like meeting the family. It's more of I would be so overstimulated, like not just like,
that's a good point.
Because you wouldn't have that comfort person there, like if you've been dating somebody for a few months, you kind of have that security, you feel that comfort.
Yeah.
And if you're just thrown into it, like the first date, you have like no comfort around you at all. And you're just like like bait in a shark water. I don't know. It's just, it's an ick. I don't know. I don't like it. I see a few people.
I think another thing to keep in mind too is that the families, and this was on Jewish matchmaking as well, although not to the same extreme as it was on Indian, but I think something else to keep in mind is that they're really seeing this whole matchmaking process almost as an interview process.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
If they want to know if this, like they are dating someone for the sole purpose of trying to find, a husband or a wife. And how are they going to know if this person is going to be a good fit for them if they don't understand who and what they come from.
Yeah. And I did like that it wasn't like they just were brought over to meet, and then the parents would ask a few vital questions and then the kids would go off on their own.
Yeah.
So that was appreciative.
I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my favorite moment right now.
Yes. Yeah. So what were some of your guys' favorites?
I don't know. I know my favorite moment from Jewish matchmaking, so I'm trying to think of mine for Indian matchmaking. I would say any of the weddings that we got to see.
Weddings, though.
Yes, we did. We got to see a couple of the
one wedding, and
there was one, right?
Yeah, and it was very, very brief.
Because it wasn't actually the one it was one that Seema Auntie, I think.
Okay, anytime they get dressed up for a big
yes.
party. Okay, there's my thing. Maybe it wasn't a wedding in my head, but
it was one dude that we saw, I think, but we didn't actually see the wedding. We saw him get dressed. He was wearing lipstick, which surprised me in that culture. It was like the color of mine.
Oh, in season 3?
Was it season 3?
1 or 2.
Yeah, I think it might have been because it was one of the last ones. So I think 2.
I haven't seen 2 yet.
I binged that series so hard, so I don't even know what.
Well, I haven't seen 2 yet.
Since I started with 3 and the last season I watched of Indie Matchmaking was season 2. I think it was season 2 because it was near the end of my watch when we saw him get married. And he was a guy who was in season 1 and 2, I think. He was the wealthy jeweler. He came from the jeweler's family. He was one who was like, no, you have to be up to my standards. And he had like this massive closet of like really expensive like jewelry and clothes.
Oh my gosh. And 2? And I gotta go binge.
It was awesome.
I remember seeing his closet and I was like, is this his personal closet or like a store?
Exactly. And I think he even said, I suppose I could make some room for her in here, but not much. I love this guy. I don't remember his name. He started with a P, I think. So did you guys have a favorite though? So you said the weddings. You like when they get dressed up.
I like anytime they have a party and get dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like I like how upfront they are with their wants and needs.
Yes.
And their, I don't want to say demands. It's not demands, but their
requirements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like how just kind of strong-headed they are about the requirements of this is what I want. This is what I'll work with.
Mm-hmm.
Find me this. So, but that also goes into my complaints and dislikes. So Eve, you can go first with your favorites.
My favorites, and I don't know, maybe this bleeds a little bit into complaints as well. And I know that I mentioned this to Maureen when I was binging because I had to talk to somebody. Was so these people go on dates, and sometimes the dates are so entirely awkward. I'm like, I know this is just a TV show, but I gotta get out of here. This is so awkward. I was saying to Maureen, I don't understand some of these people. They go to Seema Auntie and say, oh, I don't think, she was a right fit. And I'm thinking, how would they know that this person isn't a good fit if they just sat in awkward silence out the window?
Yes.
So I always thought that, I guess that's kind of a complaint too, but I always thought that was so funny. I'm like, don't you need to talk a little bit and not just stare at each other to figure out if you're a good match? Doesn't it take a little more time?
I agree with that.
There was one in one of the shows. I don't even remember what it is, but it did make me laugh because they what you saw throughout their date was very awkward and quiet. And I can't remember what show it is now. I'm trying to picture their faces in my head and I can't. But then when they were talking about their date afterwards, they're like, oh, it went so well. What? I'm like,
sure.
I guess if that was well for you, then cool.
I feel like that happened a lot.
I'm like, how was that a good date?
Imagine if you had that kind of date and what you would walk away thinking, never again. I'm not doing this with this fool again.
No.
Well, let's move into some complaints. Now, I do have, my complaint was really about, there were 2 people on there who I was like, oh my gosh, you people. There was 2 of them. And there was the one who was this really young, she was really upbeat. I don't remember any names of these. Okay. I watched these a while ago when season 3 first came out is when I watched it. And she was super upbeat. She was beautiful. She was kind. She was nice. And she was having trouble getting guys to connect with her because she was so upbeat and so happy. And she went to Chicago to meet this guy and everything was going great. And they had a great time. And her mom came along and it was a great time. And then he came to her house and visited with her family and it was great. And then they put on a party for Seema Auntie and it was great. But then she met this super young, hot looking guy there. And she was like to the other guy from Chicago, so sorry, I just don't think we're going to work. And then she was mad that this younger guy did the same thing to her.
Yeah.
You just did the guy who was awesome.
I was so frustrated by that because Shaker was the guy's name.
Yes.
The girl's name. But I remember like she was talking about how like she made out with that other guy like at that event or something. I was like, but what about Shaker? Are they not together anymore? And then it came out that she was like, yeah, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was like, I think we're, looking for different things or something. And I was like, but it was going so well. Like
on the exact same page until you saw a younger, hotter guy. And then you're like, oh, I guess we don't want well, of course not, because you want the younger, hotter guy.
Yeah.
And I think she was more disappointed because Seema Auntie was right. Like she told her that it wasn't going to be a good fit. And if anyone knows, I think it's your matchmaker who you hired to find guys for you.
Yes. Oh, that drove me nuts. And then the other one was that one girl who she was super rude to everybody.
I want to know if this is my complaint here.
I bet it's the same person. She was on 2 of the seasons of Indian Matchmaking.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I don't remember her name, but it was her sister and her mom. And her mom was like, no, she should get exactly what she wants. But this girl was so uptight and so picky and almost mean to the people she went on dates with. Like and she ended the show without anybody. She was like, I'm working on myself. Well, it's because no one wants to be around you.
That girl, I don't know her name, but that was my complaint. She was my complaint because she made me so mad. I'm like, what you have in your brain is not realistic, and you will be single for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Which is fine if that's what you want, but you're never going to get the perfect ideal person. Was she the same one who was like the balding thing too?
Yeah, I think no.
Was that another one? Because she made me mad.
There's a couple of them that said that.
There was one girl, the one that had been the one that had already been divorced.
Yeah, she was the one who wanted a guy who had a man bun.
Oh yeah, that one. She drove me crazy too. Yeah,
but this girl, like, I kept thinking, why did you hire a matchmaker?
I know. That's why I get mad.
Probably because she can't, find a guy to save her life because she's so freaking picky.
Yes. And then she blamed Seema Auntie. How dare you blame Seema Auntie? She did her darndest to do exactly. She gave you everything you need on a silver platter. It's not her fault. You're not personable.
Exactly.
I love how she ended it with saying, I think I need to work on myself. I was like, I think you do.
Yes, you do, honey.
I think you got a talking to. Is what I think happened.
Serious coaching.
Did you guys have any other complaints? I'm the only one who said a complaint.
No, I agree. You said my complaint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you reminded me of all my complaints. So I think I think we're all on the same page here.
Yes. And I think we're all on the same page with our other complaint is we only saw the matchmaking, not the wedding. On a lot of these.
I would like a lot more weddings.
But there is a show that is about Indian weddings that it suggests Netflix suggests.
I have something to say about that one, though. I thought it was going to be all about weddings, but it ended up being all about relationships leading up to the wedding. I was like,
dumb.
I don't care about your relationship. I want to see the wedding.
I got Seema Auntie for that. I'm not going to watch that one then. So overall grade for me, because these people really made me have a reaction, an emotional reaction to them, whether it was love, dislike, or extreme awkward embarrassment. I'm going to give it an A. Solid A for me. What about you guys? What's your grade?
I would give it an A because I don't have any like hard complaints about it. It's kind of one of those shows that can just be played on in the background and kept up with and not have to sit there and really, really, really pay attention to. So I give it an A. I like those shows from time to time.
Yeah, it gets an A from me. Even the stuff that was hard to watch, it was at least really amusing. So
yeah.
Yes. I agree with that.
When a show can make me like feel that awkward like coming through the screen, it always gets a higher grade from me.
I got like some Michael Scott's tots like feelings from this. Like it was like, oh no, I don't know where to look. So that's saying something.
That's one episode I can never skip, but I always want to.
I know. So it's next for Indian Matchmaking. It does currently have 3 seasons out on Netflix. The 3rd season just dropped 2 months ago. I think it dropped in April or May, so 2 or 3 months ago. There has not been anything announced. And like we've been telling you, Netflix is likely not going to announce a whole lot coming. We thought maybe the reality stuff, because they're not impacted by the writer's strike or the actor's strike. But if it were to come out, likely it would be filming in April of 2024 and maybe come out later that year. So that's what we're guessing for there. And we're going to move into something very similar next. We're going to move into Jewish matchmaking. So let's dig into Jewish matchmaking. Now, the synopsis for this is not going to be very much different from Indian matchmaking, honestly. It follows singles in the US and Israel as they turn their dating life over to a top Jewish matchmaker. Now, what drove me crazy about this is they do not say what her name is in the description. They do not give her name in the casting crew even. There are 4 people, and they're people that she tried to match up. Her name isn't even in there anywhere on IMDb.
Because I loved her so much.
Yes. I don't know if it's like she didn't want to be named on there, but now I can't remember what her name is.
Eliza?
Is that what it is? First thing that came up with
Shalom.
Ben Shalom is a very Jewish last name, so I believe it.
I didn't know that was a name. I thought that's just something people said. Shalom. That's what, like when you cheers.
It means peace, but it can also be last name.
So this matchmaker, now we only got 1 season of this, and it dropped in, I think, May or June, but I'm pretty sure May of this year it dropped.
It's very recent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very recent.
So this was a great show. And I as a Christian, like I understood a lot more the things that they talked about. There's still a lot about the Jewish culture I don't know, but I kind of related more to this because I understood a lot more of what they talked about. So from a relational perspective, I enjoyed this more. But I just thought it was so fun to hear because one thing that Eliza did, who is the matchmaker, one thing Eliza did was she had all these like little cutesy names that she would call something. And I loved that because she would put in like that's where I learned from that word. I learned it from this show. So when you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I know that word. Didn't before, but I do now.
You.
Yes. So it was neat, this show for me. I really, really liked it. And there were things I didn't know about the culture. Like, does everybody in Israel vacuum their lawns? Like that's something that that was, even I completely missed that. It was Amanda who pointed out like, what is happening here? And even I were like, what?
Eventually I did, after all the back and forth of what on earth is going on here, that's when I finally said, that's not a Jewish thing. That's just an odd people who have astroturf kind of thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, because on closer inspection, it looked like it was astroturf. So maybe people in Israel, they had astroturf because it's too hot. So I don't know.
Hey, no, turf is like the hottest freaking thing.
No, I meant because like grass can't grow.
I can only imagine like turf in Texas is like walking on cement barefoot. Like it's horrible. I don't know why people put it in hot places. Just put down dirt. I don't know.
Maybe because they wanted,
to me is just as bad as cement.
Maybe it was because they did show their son playing soccer there. So maybe it was trying to prepare him for playing soccer. I don't know, but I just
wear shoes.
Yes, I felt like I had to point that out because that was one of my favorite conversations we've ever had in our Netflix chat. Was that particular conversation? It was amazing.
I was so confused, and Eve like kept going. I was like,
we got to see Eve be a little smart alecky, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
And there you got me. My Google search history is probably gonna like call me out because I'm like, what's a Jewish lawnmower?
One that has been blessed by a rabbi, Amanda.
I was so confused.
It's a kosher vacuum.
Little did you know you could get those.
I didn't know they existed, but now I do.
I understand.
So I think there was a lot of really, really good things in here, a lot of interesting things. And I like how this woman, this matchmaker, Eliza, she was unbelievably loving. And I didn't know, like I've talked to you, Eve, a little bit about what are the different factions is factions is the right word I want to say here, right? The different split offs of Jewish religion.
Branches.
Yes. But I didn't know that even beyond I'm Orthodox, I'm Reformed, there's a whole nother subsect. I didn't realize that. And so when there's a lot of couples who were talking about, well, I don't remember the names of the subsects. Okay, I'm going to claim cancer brain because it's messed me all up in here. I don't remember anything. But there was on a lot of these dates, you would see them say, are you okay dating a Syrian Jew or whatever Jew they were from? And I didn't know that was a different thing.
I didn't either.
So I think I know what you're talking about. So in Judaism, there are like 2, and I'm going to try to explain this in the least amount of time as possible. there's like two sides to Judaism because it's an ethno-religion. You have the ethnicity, and then you also have the religion. So religion-wise, you have Reform, Orthodox, and Conservative. But then on the culture side, you have Ashkenazi, Sephardi. There's also Mizrahi. There are a bunch of other ones, but Sephardi and Ashkenazi are the two main ones. And
I'm the Ashkenazi. I'm that one. I have that in me.
So I'm an Ashkenazi Jew because and by the way, your Jewish culture is determined through the father side.
Oh, is it?
Doesn't matter for me because both of my parents are Ashkenazi Jews. But anyway, it means that my family comes from like Eastern Europe.
Okay.
But Sephardic Jews, most of them come from Spain and
okay.
Portugal, around there.
That makes more sense.
So if I were to marry like a Sephardic Jew, like our cultures and traditions and the way we even practice Judaism would be very, very different.
I think that's so interesting.
Sense. Okay. That makes more sense since they were, I know they were like, I only want, this type.
Mm-hmm.
And as people who are very observant, they understand that, like, if you're a woman who's Ashkenazi and you marry a man who's Sephardic, the children are going to be raised Sephardic.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's a deal breaker to you, then
yeah.
And I was amazed at the different kinds of ways where they would say, my dad grew up Orthodox. There was a couple of them who said my dad grew up Orthodox, so he did not raise us Orthodox because of his experience with it. But then there was also the flip of my parents did not grow up in an Orthodox home, but when they had kids, they decided to become Orthodox because they saw the value in it. And I like how watching Eliza interact with these people, like she didn't judge. I mean, Seema Auntie didn't either, but Eliza didn't come at these people for there was that one girl, Harmony, I think her name is, the blonde girl who liked unicorns.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think it was Harmony.
She was very free thinking and very free flowing and very much, I think that was really interesting to watch that play out.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have, now again, these are not characters, these are real people, and there is only one season and there's only 8 episodes. And so because I got, what's 3 times 8, 24, I got 24 of Indian matchmaking. And I didn't look closely enough at Jewish matchmaking. I just assumed there was going to be as many. It ended after 8. I was like, wait, what?
I was wanting
but
more.
I want more.
I was too.
Like, that's not enough for me.
No, I was so looking forward to 24 episodes of Jewish matchmaking. And I did not receive it. So did you guys have some favorites about the show? I've already said a couple of mine, but
Jewish vacuuming the lawn. Jewish lawnmowers. Learning about Jewish lawnmowers.
That may forever be my favorite
and
thing.
The amazing conversation that came out.
I really did not mean to be such a smart aleck. I really was just like, I don't even understand what she's trying to point out right now. So really all that.
It was literally my favorite conversation in our Netflix chat, I think.
Like, not trying to be rude here, but this is just what it looks like to me. Like, what do you think this is? Out of curiosity.
I was like, this is normal? Like, I've lived this many years and never seen this before, but apparently Eve says this is normal.
You should try it. Take your vacuum out on your lawn.
Here I am Googling why people vacuum their lawns.
No, you were Googling Jewish lawnmowers.
I did afterwards because I couldn't really come up with anything. I first looked up why people vacuum their lawns, and that didn't really come up with anything other than like sand. I looked up I don't know. I think Eve, you said something, and then I Googled Jewish lawnmower. I didn't know. Like, I was like, seriously, at that time, so confused because I thought you were being serious. I'm like,
I mean, she was, but she just didn't realize it was a vacuum.
Am I the only person seeing him vacuum the lawn?
You were when you sent the clip. I didn't notice it when I was watching it. When you sent the clip, I was like, oh, wait.
Out when you said, wait, that's a lawnmower. That's when I said, wait a second. Oh, is that a vacuum? What on earth is he doing?
I don't even know what he was saying in that entire scene.
I
didn't even know there was a child playing soccer. All I saw was a man vacuuming his lawn. I don't know what else was said or done in that entire scene. My eyes were set.
Luckily, nothing was said during that scene. It was just music. It was just the intro to the episode.
Good, because if there was conversation, I have no idea.
Well, one of my other favorite things too, and I love, she had a word for it, and maybe you can remind me what it is, but where she was talking about how you don't touch at all until your wedding. And there was a specific Jewish word she used for it. What is that?
Shomer Nagila.
That I love that concept. And when she was talking about it, and she said that the first time when she got married, they said their vows, was the first time he just reached over and held her hand. And she said it was everything. It was better than the first kiss. It was better than the first anything, because it was the first connection that they made. And I love that concept. Fat chance I'm going to get my kids to do that, but I love that concept. That was another one of my favorite things about the show.
I think my favorite thing about the show, and this is just me personally as a Jewish person with, who's familiar with the Jewish culture,
Mm-hmm.
is that I loved how accurately they portrayed all different kinds of Jewish people. They had Orthodox Jews.
Mm-hmm.
They were very true to how they portrayed Orthodox Jews very appropriately. They had a girl who was Reform, and that was portrayed very well. I don't know how much this means to anybody, but the Orthodox Jewish women that I follow on TikTok, a lot of them were talking about this show, and they loved how accurately it portrayed our religion and our culture and everything. So yeah, that part I really liked, because I went into it thinking, okay, well,
It's gonna be kitschy.
take this all with a grain of salt. But then I was watching, and I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really nicely done.
I
And
did
I
too.
honestly learned so much watching the show. I think that's actually one of my favorites. I joke about the lawnmower, but I loved how much I learned, and not just learning about the different types. I had no idea there was.
Yeah.
I knew there was different types, but I didn't know what they were, what the meaning was really, other than that.
Yeah, that was something we were just talking about youth group the other night. Of it's hard for me, as I'm not a Jewish person. It's hard for me to grasp. Well, what makes you Jewish? Because you're ethnically Jewish, or are you Jewish because you're religion Jewish? So those have always been like a hard line. So this helped me understand that a little bit more, and Eve's explanation helped even more to understand beyond that. But that was something that, because in the Bible, you have people who are ethnically Jewish, and then you have people who are Jewish by religion. And I was just like, how do you tell? And I think this helped a lot for me to understand that. And this is something that's a great personal interest for me. So I related to that really well.
We can do a whole other podcast just on that.
Oh my gosh, can we please? Eve, can we do a podcast where I just ask you questions and then you teach me?
Oh, I don't want to be in that.
I do. I want to be on that.
We can call it Ask a Jew. It'll be great.
Yes, we have approval to say that. So we can say that. So let's move into some complaints. And this complaint is kind of not a complaint. And again, it's just about people that were like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb. But there was this one guy and girl, and Eve, you messaged me about this. It was the guy.
I know where you're going, I think.
How about you say it? Because you saw it before I did. And you were like, what is with this dude?
Okay, so if this is the person who I think you're talking about. So,
jet ski?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be, I think I know exactly who you're about to talk about.
I don't know, and I don't remember either of their names. But the girl decided to break it off, I think, because she didn't feel like he was serious enough or something like that. Yes, it's because he wasn't serious enough, which is very important to know going into the next point.
Yeah.
So after she said that, after, they both agreed to go their separate ways, he said, so when do we make out? And I was like, friend, this is not how any of this works.
So cringe. Oh my god.
By the way, in case she was wondering if maybe she's made a mistake, nope.
No.
Jane is not mature enough.
You have not.
As soon as he said that, I was like, oh, no. Gross.
Didn't she say that he kept sending her text messages saying how Sephardic she looked, but she wasn't actually Sephardic? And she was like, it was just weird how he focused on that. And then
it was.
She even made the comment when he showed up on the jet ski. She's like, well, he's wearing socks and tennis shoes on a jet ski, but I'm keeping an open mind.
No, that would be I would see that and turn around and walk out. No. You don't wear socks and shoes on a jet ski. That is.
If you're wearing socks and shoes on a jet ski, you cannot be a smart man. And I need to, say la vie.
What is the point to that?
Or maybe too smart and just
the other
personality.
The other guy I didn't like was the guy who's like, I will only date Jewish women, but they have to be blonde and blue-eyed. Like,
Yeah.
I could not stand that guy because
No.
so many requirements. She had to be able to speak Hebrew, and like she had to be Israeli and Moroccan, willing to live in LA, willing to put up with his mother. And I was
so
like,
much.
honey, there is no way.
Not put up with his mother.
There is no way that, my goodness, what is her name again? Aliza?
Aliza, yeah.
Alicia.
There is no way Aliza is going to find anybody for you. Oh, and she had to be blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yes.
Do you know how many Jewish people there are who have blonde hair?
Not very many.
You have to look, I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't any at all, but you might have to look fairly far and wide for one.
Because that was something that she had said to him when he said that. He's like, well, typically I'm attracted to blonde hair, blue eyes. And she was like, well, does she have to be that? And he was like, yes. She's like, okay, well, that narrows down my list quite a bit.
I bet it does.
But when he did find this girl, I actually did think they were kind of cute together. But still, I was like, dude.
I couldn't enjoy it at all because I could not stand him. He was honestly my complaint of this show. I could not stand that guy.
He annoyed the crap out of me. I was like, I hope we do not have to put up with this all season.
No.
We did, didn't we? He wasn't in every episode, but he was in like every other. I think they didn't find him a match until the end.
Wow. I wonder why.
Maybe him and that other girl from Indian Matchmaking should get together and see if they'll.
He doesn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, Eve.
Oh, right. So that can't work out.
Isn't that the one who was like, speaking of his mother, isn't that the one that he's like, you have to live with me and my mom? Like,
no, he just said he lived with his parents, but he was willing to move out. His mom was actually pretty cool. She even told Aliza he's too picky.
Right.
She said that she's not that particular. But the other thing that made me sad, it's not really a complaint because they just didn't fit in the end, but it was that one girl who took this matchmaking thing very seriously, and her mom was involved in it. And like when they were sitting in the kitchen trying to decide what car he was going to show up in, I was like, that's awesome. It just was like cute little banter. I liked the guy a lot. And he even they showed him going to his rabbi talking about how I don't know if we want the same things. I was so sad they didn't end up together. But I get why, but I like them.
That was a bummer because I thought that they were really good together.
Right?
Yeah.
But I appreciated that this was maybe the first couple in both shows that I thought that both couples took the matchmaking process seriously. I mean, you're paying for the service. You're getting someone to do this for you. Shouldn't you follow the procedure? Shouldn't you follow the formula and do the process? And they're two who did.
Some people want their cake and eat it too,
That's true. Do you guys have any those are my only, and they aren't really even complaints. They were just like people who I was like,
I don't really have any complaints on this show, to be honest. I mean,
those were my only, I guess, complaints. I didn't really have many others.
I have to say, Eve warned me about the makeout guy, and I was like, oh, I can't wait till I get to that. Then when I got just the look on the girl's face when he said that, she was like,
no.
And then like a week later, when Maureen finally got to Jewish matchmaking, she said, oh no, I don't like this guy at all.
Awful dude. So I think for me, my overall grade for this, I think I liked it a little bit better than Indian matchmaking, only because I am incredibly interested in Judaism and it's something that I care about. So I think I would give it an A+, just an inch up. I love both of these shows very, very much, but I think I'd give this one an A+ for me.
It gets an A+ for me too. I guess my only real complaint is that there just weren't enough seasons.
Yes. I agree.
I'm going to give it an A. I mean, it takes a lot for me to say an A+. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's like not one of those shows I would rewatch though. That's the only reason I can't give it an A+ is because I can't rewatch it. Any kind of dating show, any kind of reality show, I don't like to rewatch them. Once I know what happened, I know there's not something that I enjoy to rewatch.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I loved it.
I think too with this one, now they share producers with Indian Matchmaking. So there's a chance it'll get renewed, but again, nothing's been set in stone. But the fact that Indian Matchmaking got 3 seasons and there's a good chance this will also get it. And they project that if it does, it'll start filming or come out in May 2024. So that's what we've got. That one. And now we're going completely different direction in terms of subject matter, but still in lifestyle reality. We're going to go into Instant Dream Home, which was fun.
This was my favorite because I used to love Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yes.
Like that was one of my first like favorite shows.
Mm-hmm.
And this show reminded me so much of that.
Yeah.
That I loved it. Instant Dream Home. The synopsis is a team of rapid fire renovators takes big risks and makes painstaking plans to transform families' homes from top to bottom in only 12 hours.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, at least like my old show, the Home Makeover. What is that one? Oh my gosh.
Extreme Home Makeover.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Like,
with Ty Pennington.
Longer than that.
They had a day, I think, maybe 2 days. Because oftentimes they would send them to like Disney World for a weekend or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I think they were gone a little bit longer. And I mean, I also feel like they did probably a little bit more than the Instant Dream Home. Because Instant Dream Home, I don't think they do the entire house.
No, they don't.
I think they
just did a room or two.
They did I think the rooms that are like needed like because there was like a few bedrooms and the bathroom and the kitchen and not bathroom, but like the living room and the kitchen and the bedrooms. I didn't see very many bathrooms.
No, I didn't see. I don't remember seeing any bathrooms.
I think if we did, there was only like one, maybe. I don't know. That was one thing that kind of stuck out to me was like, why are we not seeing any bathrooms being redone? I even made a comment to Ben about it when I was watching it. I was like, it's kind of weird. Like they would do the whole house and like leave the bathroom. Because I can imagine if the whole other rest of the house is like in this bad of condition. What's the bathroom look like? I'm sorry. That's where my mind went. So, I mean, other than that, I really loved this show.
I did too.
So,
and
what do you think? I've just been talking a lot.
No, it's fine. We all have our favorites. So I'm be prepared for me to do that on the next one we talk about. I really did like this. And actually I had the exact same thought of, oh my gosh, this brings me back to Sunday nights with Ty Pennington. Because like in my dorm room, I watched it before I went off to college. But then when I went to college in my dorm room, we always had an open door policy where if we were fully clothed and appropriate, we would leave our door open and people would come in. And so many Sunday nights, people would come into our room checking on my roommate nights. We were sobbing on our couch. Like, are you okay? Like, oh, watch the show with us. It's so good. And I felt a little, these episodes were too short for me to fully get in it that way, but it was leading me in that direction. And I really enjoyed that.
Eve, this was not one of your favorites. So I was interested.
I watched an episode and I really couldn't get into it. I watched Hack My Home first, which we'll talk about later. But when I went to Instant Dream Home, I felt like it was moving too fast for me.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it, is because it's fast paced. I think I like that because Hack My Home, I didn't like as much.
I think the fast pace just is not my style. So I didn't, because it was moving way too fast and my like poor ADD brain was going, wait a minute, I don't understand. Like, why are they in the house already? I don't understand this. I can't follow. And I think I actually like went back because I said I had to have missed something, like a whole episode if they're already in the house. And I was like, no, this is how it is. And I just could not follow it. It moved too fast.
I did think the episodes were a little too short. I wish that they
were a little too
longer
short.
And they showed us more of what they did, how they did it.
But I like how they went. Like,
I agree.
We started and then they kind of would go back and show you how they like came about doing it, that process, and their pre-planning in the warehouse. And I like that we got to see that and not be like, oh, you guys all did this one day. No, you guys have been working on this for months. But we're seeing all of this in like 12 hours. Which I thought was really cool because I felt like it broke it up enough for us to get kind of the playback. And I thought they did a great job for such a short episode. I felt like we got a lot of information in that short episode.
Did you have a favorite house? I have a few. Or favorite remodel?
There was one that goes off top of my brain, and they were doing like the front porch, and when it kept raining.
Oh yeah.
They were having to like tarp it off. That episode, that house for some reason stands out to me the most. But that one, I think, was honestly my favorite.
I loved the one where they did like the treehouse in the backyard, and it was like the schoolroom and they had the slide. But the ingenuity they had to go, even though you said you only stopped after one episode.
Yeah, I only
Okay.
stopped at the first one.
Give it another shot. Just see if you can do one more. Because the ingenuity, the first episode was it felt kind of bumpy to me, like they were just figuring out what they were doing. So I actually think the first episode was the worst one of the bunch, even though I enjoyed it still. So you may not even like it at all. But you watch them come to creative solutions. Like that one, there was a super steep hill that they had to bring this. It was like a big
Airstream.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one where they had to, it was almost like a container that they had to use a crane to get down the hill into the backyard that they turned into the treehouse. Yeah, the schoolhouse one. And they had so it wasn't a treehouse. I think of it that way because from that top, they had the slide going outside down into the schoolroom. And I thought that was so cool. But watching them come to creative solutions was fun. And then the other one was, it was one of the first ones when they did the kitchen remodel. And they had it lead out to that garden area where they redid the whole garden. That was so pretty.
That was so, that was one of my favorites too. Now that you said it, that was gorgeous. I like when they do the outside. Ben's like, if they just did a show with just the outside, like they did this, I would watch it. And they used to have one actually on like HGTV or something like that, where they did like, like 1 day backyard renovation.
Yes. The backyard renovation one. I love
backyard renovation.
He would go into Lowe's or something and he would
and find somebody.
Like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, your backyard? Let me go do it for you.
Yeah, I love that show. And I told Ben, I was like, yeah, we kind of have a show like that. He's like, I know I watched that, but like this, like extreme backyards. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Like that would be so cool.
The other one that I'm going to mention, then I'll stop mentioning ones that I liked because I'm bordering on listing all 8 episodes. But the one where they did the attic bedroom. And they had like that glass window that you could flip and it would open up onto this, like, I don't remember if there was a balcony or if it just opened up to the outside air, but I freaking loved that. And I want to find a way to do that in my own home.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I got one of my complaints.
Yes, I have one.
I know we can't really go into, we kind of already hit favorites. Eve, I don't think you have any favorites.
Nope.
Since you've only seen an episode. So
do you have one thing you liked about that one episode? Oh boy.
Okay, you need to watch more because honestly it's a good show.
I'm not saying it was so terrible that there's nothing good about it. It's just that I had a hard time following it and paying attention to it because as soon as I think I don't like how this format is and I don't like how this is being done, I completely phase out. I just don't, it's all a blur. Like I really don't even remember that first episode.
Yeah, honestly, I don't either. I don't even know what the first one was.
I don't know. They all kind of blow. This is one of those shows just kind of blend together.
True. Especially because when we like something here at FFC, when we like something, we flow through it very fast. Sweet Magnolias, I think most of us watched it in 2 days. Outer Banks, I stayed up for 2 straight days watching all 3 seasons, and then I was ready for season 4. So when we like something, we really get behind it.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Outer Banks twice in the same week.
It's so good. All right, so let's dig into complaints. Amanda, what is your complaint?
Danielle Brooks.
Yes.
You know
what? I wanted to like her. I wanted to like her.
You know what? It's not even I like her at moments. Whenever she is being an actual teammate and like putting in work and putting in her opinions and like being serious, I really like her.
Yes.
I really like her. But when she's being catchy and loud and screechy and
kitschy,
when she threw those Legos down that pipe and they went everywhere down there, and they were the teeny tiny Legos, and then all the workers had to stop what they were doing in this 12-hour freaking thing to clean up her mess that she made. That peeved me off worse than it should have.
I agree.
I just want to say, other than that, there was I told Ben this too, like when he was watching the show with me. I don't hate her.
She irritated me though.
I just needed the fakeness. It's when she's being fake, I don't like it. It's like overly fake.
Yes.
And that annoys me. I liked when she was being real and as like herself and as a person.
Yeah.
I really loved her. She was one of my favorites.
That's kind of like what I want to complain about. Nailed It was, right? With that host when she's like, but
Wes,
give an honest review. Just chill out. Because she had those.
I don't like it when people scream.
Like, I get you want to pump people up, you want to be excited, but be excited without being churlish, and be exciting without wanting us to rip our ears off.
Yeah.
Because when she was normal, like when they would have a problem, and like that one attic one, when the window wouldn't fit, she was calm and talking. I really enjoyed her when she was like that. But I could not stand it when she was like creating drama for drama's sake and just going crazy. I did not like it.
Yeah. Where are we with this? What are you doing? I'm like, hey, you have your job. They have their job.
Yes.
Go do your job. Like
Yes.
That's the only part of this entire show that irritated me. Other than that, loved it.
And I wish the episodes were longer, because I felt like I didn't see enough of where it was before to where it is now. But that's just me wanting more. That's not like, oh, how dare you? I wanted more.
I would like more bathrooms.
So if it's renewed for season 2, make it exclusively bathrooms to make up for how little there were in this first season, please.
Bathrooms and backyards. That's all we want.
Oh, yes. I want another backyard one. We need ideas for a compound. So, So I think for me, I know that Eve is not going to agree, but I think for me, this gets an A, because I did enjoy it. It brought me back to my Sunday nights. Yep.
It gets an A for me too, for sure.
What about you, Eve? What do you give it?
I'm going to be fair here and say no grade.
Okay,
just because I didn't watch it enough to give a fair grade. So I'm just going to be nice and say no grade for me.
I appreciate the diplomatic answer. I'll pass. No thanks.
I plead the fifth. Thank you.
Now, the only downside to this show is this is a 2022 show. All right. It did premiere in August of 2022. So a year ago it premiered, and we realized that but we've been including some 2022, which is home improvement stuff. There has been no word on whether or not it'll be renewed. So I think chances might be slim that it gets renewed. I feel like these shows cost a lot of money to do. So maybe that's why. Maybe that'll get renewed after the writer's strike, but I have a feeling that as they're going to be paying actors and writers more, maybe this won't get renewed. This may be one that they put on the chopping block, since it's been a year and there's been no word. That's not to say that I'm right, but that's my feeling on that.
Yeah, I hope it does, because I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good. So let's move on to my personal favorite on this list. And I realize I already gave out an A+ for this review on Netflix, but this one is actually my favorite show. It's Hack My Home. And the synopsis is, it shows worthy families with a different version of the same problem. They need more space, yet they don't want to move or go to the financial expense of remodeling their homes. All right. So this show, it goes with, there's 4 people in there. There's Addie Williams, who is she does the carpentry or the construction. There's Jessica Banks, who she does the engineering side of it. And she's actually from Milwaukee. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Because it's cool. Mikkel Welch, who is my daughter's favorite. She'd be sad if I did not say that. Do you know why he's her favorite?
Why?
He's a little snarky, and she's like, I love him. I want him to be my friend. Mikkel Welch,
I see that.
He does the design, and Brooks Atwood, who is one of my favorites with the crazy hair.
Yeah,
he does all the creative things in there.
You know who Brooks reminded me of? I just have to say this real quick.
Weird Al.
So maybe it's just the hair. I don't know, but
Albert?
I saw him and I thought he reminded me so much of Luke from Emily in Paris.
Oh.
I thought you were going Cruel Summer. I'm like, how?
I was going Gilmore Girls.
I had that in my brain. I was like, I need to hurry up and say this because they're gonna think I'm talking about Luke from Gilmore Girls. No, Luke.
I don't know where you're going with this.
No, Luke from Emily in Paris, the one who was like,
yeah.
Emily. I don't know if it was just like the hair or something, but I was like, huh.
He's tall, lanky, same kind of hair. I could see it.
He reminded me of Weird Al Yankovic so bad. The sound of his voice, his hair, his glasses, the way he acted, everything. I was like, whoa, this is tripping me out.
Who doesn't love Weird Al?
Right. My husband and I, that was one of the concerts we went to together, was Weird Al. It was entertaining. So this was, again, no characters because it's the show. Now what they do is they go and create these amazing spaces. And I felt like I watched this with my daughters and we all got very hooked very quickly. It was like, can we watch the show now? Mom, can you go back to the episode you watched without me? I missed that one. And so it was like, so it was that kind of thing. And when the 8 episodes ended, my oldest daughter and I looked at each other like, you ready to watch it again? Because I needed notes. I wanted to take notes and do these things. Those moving rooms. How cool is that?
So cool. I love this show so much.
Amanda did not.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the complaint section.
Okay.
Well, I can't be mad at Amanda because I didn't like the other one that she loved. So
I didn't hate this one. I didn't hate it. I don't really have as many complaints as I have a lot of concerns.
Okay. Well, that's
we'll get there.
I'm very interested now.
Yes,
we'll get there.
I wasn't before, but now I'm interested.
No.
Well, I think some of my favorite things, because I have an old house. My house is over 100 years old. So we have rooms that they've been added on since it was built. So some of the rooms are like janky and I can't they're big, but the way the walls cut in, it's hard for my kid. Like Maya has one room, very small. My other two share a room, and it's like this sort of L shape, sort of U shape. It's weird. And I can't find solutions to store things and to do these things. And I thought the solutions they came up with were super creative. One of my favorites was that kitchen remodel. The one where they hit a button and then the appliances came up from the counter. I'm like, oh, I want to do that so bad. I want to do that because I don't like clutter on my counters. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. But like my KitchenAid's out, my toaster oven's out, my waffle maker's out. All of my things are out on the counter because I use them. And I like to hide things. maybe that's a character flaw in me. I like to hide things. So
me too. My toaster and everything's under. I have a cabinet that they all go under.
I like to hide things, but I'm also fairly lazy. I don't want to bend over and pick things up all the time. Take them out, put them out, and take them out. So I like their ingenuity. There was a lot of the kids' rooms ones I really, really liked because my kids really, really need some of those things that they did. That, like, I think the pulley system, I probably wouldn't ever do that. I mean, it was a neat concept, but I would never do that in my kids' room. But like the walls that would hide things, because that's my daughter. I have a 13-year-old and it's terribly difficult to get her to clean her room or to get her. She keeps saying, I don't have things in my room. I don't have this. I don't have this. I can't do this. My room's too small. And these were all solutions that I could apply in my own home to do that. And I think those are my favorite things about the show. What about you, Eve?
Well, I have a favorite episode. I really liked, do you remember the Dome House?
Mm-hmm. I cried.
That house was so cool. I cried so much during that episode, and I am not a crier. It takes a lot to get me to cry over something. That one made me tear up because I think that they were grandparents raising these girls, right?
Yeah, 4 girls.
They were so passionate about, I will give up whatever it is I have to so that they can have, whatever it is that they need. And I was like, they have to find a way to give this amazing woman a closet. Like, please just give her.
I love that they did that.
I love that little prayer closet. I thought it was so cute, and like it looked almost like a spa. I was like, I want to hang out in the prayer closet.
I really want a prayer closet in my house. Come do that for me, please.
I actually thought of you when I saw that. I was like, I bet Maureen is going to need to build this into her house.
100%.
But it was just so cool how they took this space, and it was a rather large space too. But when they first showed it, I was thinking, how on earth are they going to give these 4 girls who live, because the more people you put in to share a space, the smaller it gets.
Yeah.
It was like, what on earth are they going to do with this room? I love what they did. They created basically like 4 different bedrooms. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm. And the shades that came down on their bunks. So my kids would kill for that. The 2 that share a room, they would kill for that.
Yeah. You don't even have to look at each other.
Sometimes they need some separate time. And the other thing too, that it was the very first episode that got me hooked when they had the dad did therapy and he needed soundproofing, needed that stuff. That hit me because I'm not a therapist, but I podcast and my kids are always home when I podcast, or they have been all summer long. And to have a space that is just my own and no one else's, like I have to share this room with other people. And then our office where I edit, it's in the toy room. So it's like, I could really, really utilize this. And I love this idea that it's functional and it's a place away, it's soundproof, but it doesn't really impact negatively the rest of the space or the house or the kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your complaint, Amanda? I'll let you go first.
What are my favorites?
Oh, I didn't think you had any. You were so silent. What's your favorite?
No, I have favorites. I didn't hate the show. I mean, it's not going to get like
Okay.
an F from me. I just have a lot more complaints than I have favorites. Let's just say
Okay.
that. It's not because I
Gotcha.
don't have favorites. I loved their ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I'm going to roll into my complaints.
Wait, also their big giant table that they use to discuss things. I would like that.
I do love
please.
that. my big problem with this is you're hacking things to make things work.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I get it. We all live in houses that sometimes get too small for a family. Sometimes moving is not the best option, or you can't. I get it. But what happens when these hydraulics, buttons, pulley systems, all this stuff starts breaking? Are they coming back and fixing all this stuff? Because that's not going to be cheap to fix a freaking hydraulic thing that lifts up out of my kitchen counter. Who's coming and fixing that? Like, how much is that going to be to freaking fix other than that's exactly where my mind as a homeowner here, I'm like, how much is that going to cost me to fix when it breaks? Because it's going to break, and it's going to break a lot faster than your normal just cabinets. The hydraulic thing's going to give, 5 years before you're having issues with it. And that's not very long when it comes to real life. So that's my huge issue with this show is I love their thoughts and how they do things. I think it's brilliant, but these are families that don't just have $5,000 laying around to fix an hydraulic system that broke, and now they can't get their freaking KitchenAid mixer out from underneath the cabinet because it's stuck down there. Like that's where my mind was this entire show, and that's probably why I couldn't watch it without just thinking everything. Every single time they did something, I would think of the negative, and I think that was my problem watching this show.
Yeah,
that makes sense. With like Instant Dream Home, they're not like putting in hydraulic stuff. I think that's where it gets me. Stuff that can easily break. They're redoing stuff, redoing walls, moving walls, putting in new appliances. They're doing stuff like that. They're not doing that with Hack This Home. They're putting in more issues that I can see.
I think one of the reasons I didn't even think about that was because these people are saving a lot of money by not buying a new home, by not leaving the space they're in, because a lot of them, like that one with the kitchen with the hydraulic, those women, this was their home. They owned it in full. They didn't have to pay a mortgage on it. So that's one expense that they didn't have. So I think that for me, it was more, I thought more of, and I guess because this may not always be the case, but currently right now, if you reach out to any of these people who design the home, they're instantly calling you. They're instantly responding to you. They will reach out to you. I went through and I commented on their posts when they said this is coming out. And I was like, oh, hey, I love this about the episode. Each one of them personally responded to me. And so I think that that was just my thinking because I did that. My daughter was like, can we reach out to them? Is there a season 2? Can we be on the show? So that was why I did it. And so for me, it seemed like they were just going off of how approachable they are and how much they love what they do and how much they involve the family, that I feel like we don't see this ever on any of these home shows, that they give out information of, hey, if this breaks or if this does this. But I'm willing to bet that they do give information of, this is where you can get it fixed. You can reach out to me at this time, at this place, if this breaks or if there's an issue. I think that we don't see that, but you have to imagine that when we're redoing these homes and they're putting these kinds of things in there, that at the very least, it's the production team that are giving them numbers and information.
And I want to see that.
I agree. I think that should be
in my brain how it works. I need that.
But I think they do that on all of these shows. And we don't ever see that, but they have to do that on these shows. Like, okay, well, this is because you got to know who, let's say in the Instant Dream Home, they fixed a wall and the week later it's cracking. You got to know who did it.
To me, it's not even like right after it happens, but my thing is like when that stuff does start breaking down 5, 6, 7 years down the road, are they still going to be willing to come fix it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. If you know, like I was comparing it of, you should, even in that show where they aren't putting hydraulics in there, they should still be telling them this is who did the work, so that when or if it breaks, you have the source of, okay, I know that you did this. So if this breaks or falls or fails, I'm going to call you and say, all right, hey. So I think we don't ever see that. And I wish we did see that more in these shows of
at least say like there's like a 10-year warranty.
Yeah, something.
I don't know. I need some kind of. And not everybody's going to think the way that I think. I still think it was a good show. I did love all the characters. I don't know. Like
the hosts,
I guess. The team. There you go. I did love the whole team. I loved each one of them differently with their own personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that whole thing was great.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favorites. My brain just could not get off everything breaking. That's where my catch up was, and I just could not.
You want to know what my hang up was?
Yes, I do.
Going off of Amanda's thing, a lot of these were like, so you just push this button on this remote, and I'm like, I've met myself. That remote is going to be lost in a couple hours tops. Like, I'm going to think, I need my KitchenAid mixer. Where's the remote?
Shadow's gonna kick it under things.
And I'm going to rip my house apart looking for this little itty bitty remote that looks like it's about the size of like an Apple TV remote. And I'm going to go insane.
Yeah.
We have remotes for so many. My head didn't go there either because we have like remotes for all, like when we bought this house, they put fans in that all have to be operated by a remote. So each of my rooms upstairs, they all have a remote. And I hyper protect because I know how my kids are with our Roku remote and our TV remote, which are frequently lost.
Your what?
But our Roku and TV remotes?
Roku?
How do you say it?
Roku?
We say Roku.
It sounds so funny. I've never heard you say it.
It's probably Roku because it's ROKU, but we always say Roku. I don't know why.
I've never heard it say Roku.
Anyway, stop making fun of my Midwestern.
Hey, you can make fun of my Texan.
I is who I is, Amanda. But
hey man, you do you, boo.
I hyper protect those remotes because if we don't have those remotes, then our fans don't turn on. And I don't know if anybody knows science, but heat rises. So we don't want to get caught upstairs without fans. So we protect those better. So I think that's for me, but that's just me personally. I know that a lot of people wouldn't be like that, but that's where my head went. Let's talk about
Velcro needs to go on the back and it needs to stay on a wall or something. Like you don't you don't take it off the wall. It stays there.
You will notice that some of them, they did put the remote thing on the wall. It's a button you push on the wall. And they didn't do that. I feel like they did that in the back half of the episodes, though. I wonder if someone brought that to their attention because I feel like it was more in the back half that they did that at first. At first, it was a lot of remote business.
Can I have a replacement remote?
Like, hey guys, just a little bit of feedback. People are losing these remotes. Maybe the wall.
Well, there's
attach them to them.
There's other things I thought were really brilliant that the engineer Jessica did. She like in that house where she did the hydraulic countertop, they put that table back into the counter where you could pull it out, and then the ottomans were the seats. But you could pull up the stools, and you had 8 different seats when you would separate the ottoman into 8 pieces. I just like stuff like that was just so cool. It was just, it's neat. All right, so I think that our complaints are fairly minimal on all of these shows across the board. Mm-hmm. This one, I'm gonna give it an A+ because this is one I want to watch repeatedly and take notes and figure out how I can do that in my house.
I'll give it a B+. And honestly, that's only because of my one issue. Yeah. I don't know if I can get past it. I loved the team. I think the whole show is an awesome idea, but I need more explanation of what happens when this stuff breaks. I need somebody to explain it to me. If somebody can explain it to me, I will gladly change my grade up.
Here's what we need. All right. So Mikkel, Addie, and Jessica and Brooks, if you are listening to this, we would like to have you on our show and ask you these questions.
Yes, I need to dig brains. Because if you guys can make me understand.
You want to what now?
Dig in brains?
Dig their brains?
Yeah, dig in their brains. Isn't that a saying?
Never heard it say dig brains before.
Never heard
no.
that before. It makes you sound like a zombie.
No? Is that not a saying?
No, pick your brain is. I want to pick your brain, but not dig in your brain. Just picture you with a little pickaxe and a shovel going in someone's head.
I don't think we're going to get much out of them after you, like, you know, around their brains.
Tomato, okay? Same thing.
Roku. It's all the same.
No.
Big bag. It's all the same.
No.
All right. So, Eve, what do you give this? What grade?
I give it an A. Every time I was sitting there thinking, there is no way there. I was like, how are they going to make this itty bitty tiny little kitchen work, like be functional to do anything? And I was like, oh, well, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
I always got excited, by the way, when they would mention like the high ceilings.
Yes.
Like, I've noticed there are high ceilings in here. I'm like, oh, they're about to do something.
We're going up.
Even when they would go down, there was that one house where they made the whole, oh, stop it. But there was that one where they made the whole, like, it was almost like a crawl space.
Mhm.
There wasn't a way to get to it from the inside, and they made it into a huge schoolroom, and then they built that table where you can go down. Like,
Mhm.
they look at everything as space to use, and I thought that was a brilliant concept. And
I also to know, why are they only doing homeschools? Because I felt like every episode they were homeschooling.
Well, no, I think there was only like 3 of them who did homeschool, and that's why they need more space, though, because they had a lot of kids and they homeschooled, so it was a big reason why they needed to hack their home.
Oh my gosh, if I had that many kids, I'd want them all in school.
My daughter last year, my middle daughter was like,
impressed
Mom,
with these parents. Let me tell you, I am impressed.
My daughter last year was like, Mom, I want to be homeschooled. I'm like, nope, sorry. That ain't for me. So this is one that just dropped on July 7th. And if you look at any of the cast members on their Instagram accounts, they're fairly active on Instagram. They are not involved in the actor strike or the writer strike because they don't fit into those categories. They are actually engineering, designer, construction, and Brooks is, I don't know what his actual like title is, but he comes up with all the creative solution, or not all, but he comes up with creative solutions. So you can check out their Instagram. And one thing that they did request, if you like the show, to keep watching it and watch it all the way through, so that Netflix can see that numbers are up and they'll renew it for a second season. So get on that, because I want another season. I want them to teach me more, and I want them to do more for me, essentially, is what I would like them to do. So make sure you're watching
choose me. Choose my house.
Yes, please.
Not me, you.
Me. Choose my house, because
I got enough issues.
I don't know how to do things that are space saving. I have all these ideas, but I can't make them out. And I need a podcasting room. So yes, you need a podcasting room, Amanda. So do you, Eve. They can come to our house.
Where?
That's exactly it. You need someone to hack your home. I do. All of these shows, highly, highly, highly recommend. Even the shows that got a B+ or no grade, they're all recommend all these. I think that we can all safely say, at least for 3 of them, all 3 of us can say, go watch this. But all of them, watch the shows. They're really entertaining. They have, each one of them have a component to them that you probably haven't experienced before, or probably haven't thought of before. It's really, really good, especially if you like, and I know we gave you home improvement and relational, but honestly, those 2 things, for some reason in my head, they work. And I love both. I love them all equally. So that's not true. I don't love them all equally. I love Hack My Home the best, and Jewish Matchmaking very close second, but the others are all tied for A's. So watch these shows. Tune into our Netflix group on Facebook, which is Netflix Family Fan Club. And it's significantly harder to say than it is to just go there and click on it and join our group. If you're looking for some reviews, like we told you, Netflix is in your future, baby. So we've got a lot of reviews we've done for you this summer. We've done, I believe this is going to be our 10th review. We have one more coming out for you. This is our 9th. Next Wednesday, you're getting feel good movies. So we're doing Happiness for Beginners, The Outlaws, Perfect Find. And then you will also get our finale recap of Cruel Summer coming out next Friday. And I think all 4 of us who have been doing the summer recordings are going to be on that, because let me tell you, we have things to say. Yeah, we have things to say.
I was very upset. I've got lots of things to say.
Just gonna leave it there. Make sure you watch Cruel Summer, the final episode, before you tune into that. Check it out on Hulu. We have one more coming at you this summer. So we only have 3 episodes left of our summer season. And that is a review of The Summer I Turned Pretty, which you can watch on Amazon. That is coming at you at the end of August, Friday, August 25th. That will be coming at you. And that's what we have for this summer. After this, we'll be going to streaming shows and more Netflix reviews. We'll go over more Netflix things, present and past, because we want to give you comprehensive. We want to keep bringing you content. Make sure you are checking out our channel and our socials, interact with us there. And please, please, please make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel so we can continue to give you great content, and that we can continue to get you things that you want to hear from. I'm sure you don't always want to hear from us. Sometimes you want to hear from the people in your shows. Like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and we can get you those things. So that's what's coming up for you down the pike, and we will see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.